Hello guys, let's take a look at the number sense test number 1 from the year 2003-2004. As you may be aware, there are 80 questions on this test and you have 10 minutes to complete this test. There is no scratch work allowed, so you have to solve most of these questions or all of these questions mentally. There are several tricks and techniques that can be utilized in a number of these questions, and I have tried to highlight those in this video. So let's take a look at the questions. Question 1, 0.17 is equal to what percentage? So 0.17 is 17 over 100. So this is 17 over 100, so times 100, so that's basically equal to 17%. So the answer is 17. Question 2, what is the sum of 6714 and 982? So that's simply 6, 9, 6 and 7, 7696. 30% in the form of fraction. So 30% is 30 divided by 100. So that's 3 over 10. So we can write 3 divided by 10. 429 minus 277. So 429 minus 300 is 129. And then we have to subtract additional 23 from it. So basically it will be 152. So 152. 7 by 20 in the form of decimal. So we know that 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, and then we divide that by 10, we get 0.35. 2 over 5 in the form of percentage. So 2 over 5 is 0.4. So that's 40%. So 40 is the answer. Question 7, 1818 divided by 6. So this is simply 303. Question 8, product of 11 and 436. So the trick that we use for multiplying any number with 11 is as follows. So in this case we have, let me just rewrite it over here. This is 436 times 11, right? So we write the first number as is because it's 4 is multiplied with 1, so we write 4 over here. And then the second number that we write is the sum of 4 and 3, the first two numbers, so that's going to be 7. The third number that we are going to write is going to be the sum of the last two numbers. So 3 plus 6 is 9, and then the last number is 6 times 1, which is 6. So the answer is 4796. Question 9, what is 4 times 999? So think of this as 4 times 1000, so that would be 4000, but because this is 1 less, so we will subtract 4 from 4000. So the answer will be 3996. Question 10. What is the sum of these 5 numbers? And the answer has to be an approximate number. So 17 plus 24 is 41. 41 plus 62 is close to 100. And then 19 plus 81 is also 100. So it's 100 plus 100. So that's the answer is 200. Question number 11. What is the square of 14? 196. So I expect you all to memorize the squares of numbers from 1 through 30. So let's take a look at next question. Question 12 is 7 by 8 minus 3 by 4. So the way I do this is you basically cross multiply. So this is 28 and then this is 24. So 28 minus 24 is 4, and then you take the product of 8 and 4 in the denominator. So we get 4 over 32, which is 1 over 8 as the answer. Question number 13. So this Roman number has to be converted into Arabic number. So ceased is 100, and so we have 200 over here, and L is 50, so that's 250, and then this is 4, so this is 254. Question 14. What is the product of 28 and 25? So the trick over here is, again, you have to do this mentally. Whenever we have a number 25, we just change that to 100 divided by 4. So now you can see that 28 and 4 can cancel, so this is 7, so the answer is 700. So question 15, which is larger, 7 by 8 or 6 by 7? So one way to quickly do that is again to cross multiply and see which one has the larger numerator. So 7 times 7, so the first one will be 49, and then 8 times 6 will be 48. So clearly 49 is larger than 48, so 7/8 will be the larger fraction of the two. Question 16. 286 divided by 9 has a remainder of how much? So when we divide 286 by 9, so 9 times 3 is 27, and then we have a remainder of 1, and then we get 16, and then 9 times 1 is 9, so 16 minus 9 is 7, and that would be the remainder. Question 17. 47 nickels is equal to how many dollars? So nickels is 5 cents, so basically the question is 47 times 5 divided by 100. So 47 times 5 is 235. 235 divided by 100, so that will be $2.35. Question 18. 12 and a half times 16. Again, this has to be done mentally. So 25 by 2 is the same as 12 and a half. So essentially we have 25 by 2 multiplied by 16. So that means it is 25 times 8, because 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 25 times 8 is 200. 16 milliliters is equal to how many liters? So that is 16 divided by 1000, so it's going to be 0.016. Question 20, and this they are expecting an approximate answer for this one. So 203 times 302. So I would assume that this is 200 and this is 300. So 2 times 3 is 6, and then I simply add 4 zeros to it. So that should be good enough. 60,000 is the approximate answer for this one. 13 inches is equal to how many feet? We know that 12 inches is 1 feet. So 1 inch is 1 by 12 feet. So 13 inches will be 13 over 12 feet. So you can leave the answer in the form of this fraction, or you can also write this as 1 over 12 if you want to write it in mixed fraction format. Okay, let's take a look at the next question. Question 22. 3 1/3% in the form of fraction. So this is nothing but 10 over 3%. 10 over 3% means this is 10 over 300. So you can cancel 0 and 0. So you can leave the answer as 1 over 30. Question 23. The mean of 48, 46, 49 and 49. So there are 4 numbers, 48, 46, 49 and 49, and you have to find the mean. So one way to do that is you basically add all these 4 numbers and divide by 4. So the way you can add this is, since all of these numbers are close to 50, so assume that all these are 50. So 50 times 4 is 200, and then subtract 2 plus 4, which is 6. 6 and 2, 8. So this is 192 divided by 4. So that's going to be equal to 4 and 8, 48. Question 24, 45 square. So again, the trick over here, as you may recall, is you simply write 5 times 5 is 25, and then you take the first number and then you multiply it by the next number. So 4 times 5 is 20. So the answer is 2025. Question 25, 11 plus negative 2 minus 3. So this is simply 11 minus 2, which is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. Question 26, 93 in the form of a Roman numeral. So since this is 93, so we know that C is 100, and if we write an X to the left of it, that becomes 90, and then we simply write 3 on the right side of C. Question 27, 13 divided by 2.5. So 13 divided by 5, and then that is multiplied with 2. So this is nothing but 26 divided by 5. So that's 5, 1 over 5. Question 28, 6n plus 7 is equal to 31. Then what is the value of n? So you subtract 7 from both sides, so you get 6n is equal to 24, and then you divide both sides by 6. So n is equal to 4, and you can do a quick check. 6 times 4 is 24, 24 plus 7 is 31. That's what we have on the right side. Question 29, 3.5 times 12. So 12 times 3 is 36, and then 12 times half is 6. So 36 plus 6 is 42. Question 30, what is the approximate value of the product of these 4 numbers? So we have 4.6 multiplied with 3.8, which is multiplied with 2.1, and that's multiplied with 5. So one way to do this is I assume that this is 4.5 and then this is 4. So I underestimated the first one and then I overestimated the next one. So 4.5 times 4, which is 18, and then the next 2 numbers, I can assume that this is 2 times 5, which is 10. So 18 times 10, which is nothing but 180. Question 31, the area of a square with side 3/4 is how much? So the area of a square is nothing but the square of its side. So if the side is 3/4, the area will be 3/4 times 3/4, so that's 9 over 16. Question 32, what is the product of 50 and 264? So again, think of this number as 100 divided by 2. So when you multiply 100 with 264, you will get 26400. So that's 26,400. And when you divide 26,400 by 2, you will get 13,200 as the answer. The next question, number 33, is if 5 over 8 is equal to x over 3, then x is equal to how much? So in this case, simply you need to cross multiply 3, you just need to cross multiply 3 with 5/8, and what you get is x is equal to 15 over 8. So you can leave the answer as 15 over 8, or you can write down this as 7 over 8. Question 34, the supplement of 47 degrees. So what is the number or what is that angle that I add to 47 degrees so that the sum is 180 degrees, right? So 180 minus 47, so that will be equal to 133 degrees. Question 35, what is the product of 58 and 52? So again, there are a couple of ways how we can do that. The way I do this mentally is and I'm gonna just write it down over here. So this is 50 plus 8, and this multiplied with 50 plus 2. So 50 times 50 is 2500, and then 8 times 50 is 400, and 2 times 50 is 100. So 400 plus 100 is 500, and then we had 2500 earlier, so that's 3000, and then 8 times 2 is 16. So the answer is 3016. So that's the answer. The other way that I also use that once in a while is 58 times 50 is 2900, because 58 times 100 is 5800, and 58 times 50 will be half of that, so that's 2900. And then we have to multiply 58 times 2, so that's 116. So when you add 116 to 2900, you get 3060. Question 36, 27 base 8 is equal to what number in base 10? So this is simply 8 times 2, which is 16. 16 plus 7 is 23. Question 37. The cost of driving a car 80 miles at 25 cents per mile is how much? So simply this is 80 times 0.25. So that is 1/4. So 80 times 1/4 is 20. So the answer will be $20. The next question is the product of 6 2/3 multiplied with 6 1/3. So again, there are a couple of ways of doing this. One way to do this is you multiply 6 times 6, that's 36, and then multiply 6 times 1/3, which is 2. So 36 plus 2 is 38, and then you multiply 6 with 2/3, so that's 4, and so now you have 38 plus 4, which is 42, and then you multiply 2/3 with 1/3, so that is 2/9. So the answer is 42 2/9, right? So let's double check this one. 6 times 6 is 36, so that's 36. 6 times 1/3 is 2, then 6 times 2/3 is 4, and then 2/3 times 1/3 is 2/9. So that's 40, 42, 42, 2/9. Question 39. What is the product of 98 and 98? So again, you can think of this as 100 minus 2 times 100 minus 2, right? So which is like 100 minus 2 whole square. So 100 square is 10,000. So that's 10,000 plus 4 minus 400. So that's 9,604. Question 40. This is an approximation. Pi to the power 5. So again, I expect you to memorize this. However, if you forget, you should know that pi is approximately equal to 3.14, and pi square is approximately equal to 10. So pi to the power 4 will be approximately equal to 100, and then pi to the power 5 will be approximately equal to the product of 3.14 and 100. So if you write 314, that should be good enough. Question 41. 16 2/3 times 36. So I see a 3 over here, and I know that 36 and 3 can cancel. So one way to do that is you convert this into improper fraction. So this is 50 over 3. So 50 over 3 times 36. So that's 50 times 12, which is nothing but 600, right? Okay, let's take a look at the next question. Question 42. What is the product of 8 1/3 and 4 1/3 in mixed number format? So 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 1/3 is 8 by 3. And 4 times 1/3 is 4 by 3. So when you add those two, you get 12 by 3, which is 4. And then 1/3 times 1/3 is 1/9. So you have 32 plus 4, which is 36. And 36 and 1/9 is 36 1/9. So we'll just write it as 36 1/9. Question 43. 24 times 6 plus 6 times 76. So one thing you should notice over here is that 6, you can take 6 common as a common factor. So this is equivalent to 6 times 24 plus 76. So 24 plus 76 is 100. So the answer will be 6 times 100 is 600. Question 44. 0.444 recurring is equal to what fraction? So if x is equal to 0.444, 10 times x will be equal to 4.444, right? And when you take the difference between the second and the first, you get 9x is equal to 4. So therefore x is equal to 4 divided by 9, right? Question 45. 26 square minus 24 square. So you need not find the square of these numbers over here and then take the difference. One way to do it very easily is to use the formula a square minus b square is equal to a minus b times a plus b. So a minus b is 2 and a plus b is 50. So the answer is going to be 2 times 50, which is 100. Smith has how many subsets? So this has 5 elements. So the number of subsets will be 2 to the power 5, which is 32. Question 47. 24 is 1 and 1/3 of what number? So essentially, again, you have to do this mentally, but 24, the question is 24 is equal to 1 1/3 is 4/3 of what number? Let that number be x. So if you divide both sides by 4, you get 6 on this side and x is equal to 18. Question 48. What is the sum of consecutive numbers from 1 through 16? So the formula that we use over here is n times n plus 1 divided by 2, where n is equal to 16 in this case. So let me just write it down over here. N times n plus 1 divided by 2. So that's the formula. N is 16. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then n plus 1 will be 17 in this case. So 8 times 17 or 17 times 8. That's equal to 136. Question 49. 102 times 106. So again, the way you do this mentally, one of the ways how you can do this mentally is think of this as 100 plus 2 and then you multiply this by 100 plus 6, right? So 100 times 100 is 10,000 and then 100 times 6 is 600, 100 times 2 is 200, so that's 800, and then 6 times 2 is 12. So this is 10,812. That's the answer. Question 50, again the answer is expected to be an approximate answer in this case. 4.6 raised to the power 4. So again, think of this as 4 plus 0.6, right? You're taking the square of that, and then whatever you get, you're taking the square of that, right? So that's raised to the power 4. So what's 4 plus 0.6 raised to the power 2? So that's a plus b whole square, right? So that's a square plus 2 times ab plus b square. So what's a square in this case? A square is 16 plus 2 times ab is about 5. So that's 16 plus 5, that's 21. And then b square is 36, so we can ignore that. So this is essentially equal to 21 square. So if you write the answer 441, that should be close enough. Question 51, what is 16 times 32? So this is like 16 times 16 times 2. So I know that 16 times 16 is 256, and 256 times 2 will be equal to 512. Question 52, the diagonal of a square with side 9 is how much? So that's simply 9 square root 2. And the reason is, if you have a square with side 9, right? And if you use Pythagorean theorem over here, so this will be equal to 9 square plus 9 square, right? So that's equal to 2 times 9 square. So that's equal to 9 square root 2, right? Question 53, 18 is what percentage less than 20? So let's say if the number is 5%, so 5% of 20 is 1. So that in that case the answer would be 19. So if we choose the number to be 10%, so 10% of 20 is 2. So 2 less than 20 is 18. So the answer is 10% in this case. Question 54, adding 35% of a number to a number is the same as multiplying the number by what? So this is like saying, let's say if we have a number x and we are adding 35% of this number to it, so that means we are adding 0.35x to it. So this is equal to 1.35x. So this is the same as multiplying the original number with 1.35. So we'll write 1.35 over here. Question 55, what is the value of x in this case? So 1 over 7 plus 1 by 3 is equal to 1 by x. So let's focus on the left side. Let's cross multiply, right? So 7 multiplied by 1 and 3 multiplied by 1. So 1 over x is basically equal to 3 plus 7, which is 10 over 21. So 1 over x is 10 over 21. So x will be equal to 21 over 10. So that's equal to 2 1/10, right? So let me show the work over here. So what I did over here was I cross multiplied. So I get 3 plus 7 divided by 21 equal to 1 over x. So that's 10 over 21 equal to 1 over x. And then I just basically took the reciprocal of this and I got 21 over 10. Question 56, 24 base 10, and that needs to be converted to a number in base 7. So basically what they're asking is how many 1s and how many 7s and how many 7 squares are there in this number 24. So 7 squared is 49. So clearly there are 0 49s in this. How many 7s are in 21? There are 3 7s in 24. So 7 times 3 is 21. So the remainder is 3, and so we write there are 3 1s. So the answer is going to be 33 base 7. Question 57. If f of x is equal to 5x minus 7, then f of minus 1 is equal to what? So in this case, we simply substitute the value of x as minus 1. So 5 times minus 1 is minus 5. So minus 5 minus 7 is minus 12. Question 58, the geometric mean between 1 and 4. So the geometric mean of two numbers x and y is simply the square root of the product. So if we have two numbers x and y, you multiply the two numbers x times y and then take the square root of that. So 1 times 4 is 4, square root of 4 is 2. Question 59, the number of positive fractions in lowest terms with denominator 10 is how many? So essentially what they're asking is, if we have the fractions 1 over 10, we can't have 2 over 10 because you can simplify that. 3 over 10 is the next one. Can't have 4 over 10, can't have 5 over 10, can't have 6 over 10, then you can have 7 over 10, and then you can have 9 over 10. So answer should be 4. Question 60, what is the approximate value of the product of 142,857 and 54. So think of this number as 140,000, right? And then think of this as multiplied with 50, and then think of this again as multiplied with 60, and then we can take the average of the answers. So 14 times 5 is 70, so this was going to be 70, and then we will add 5 zeros to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 7 million, and 14 times 6 is 84, so this is going to be 8.4 million. So the answer has to be somewhere in between. So approximately what we can write the answer as, so the difference between this is 1.4 million. So I'm going to add 700,000 to this number. So I'm going to write 7,700,000 as the answer. Question 61, 1 foot is equal to how many inches? So that's 12 inches. Question 62, 111 multiplied with 235. Again, in this case, we will use the trick. So if we have 235 multiplied with 111, so the first number is going to be simply 2 times 1, which is equal to 2. The second number is going to be the sum of the first two numbers. So 2 plus 3 is 5. The third number is going to be the sum of all these three numbers. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So I'm going to write 0 over here, and 1 is carryover. So I will change this to 6. So that's 260. And then we take the sum of the last two numbers. So 3 plus 5 is 8. And then we simply write the last number, 5. So the answer is 26,085. Question 63. The surface area of a cube with inner diagonal 3 is how much? So the length of the diagonal of a cube with side x is x square root 3. So that's given to be equal to 3. So if you square both sides, what you'll get is x square times 3 is equal to 9, right? So x square will be equal to 9 divided by 3, which is 3. Now the surface area of a cube is 6 times x square in this case. So that's going to be equal to 18. So that's 18. And the reason why the length of the diagonal is x square root 3 is this. So if you think of a cube, let's say this is our cube, and each side of the cube is equal to x, right? So this is x, and the height is also x. So what's given to us over here, and let me choose a different color, is that the inner diagonal, which is this diagonal, that's given to be equal to 3. Now the length of this diagonal is equal to x square root 2, and this vertical height is x. So again, if we use the Pythagorean theorem, and let's say I call this inner diagonal as d, so d square will be equal to x square plus 2x square, which is equal to 3x square. So if I take square root on both sides, I get d is equal to x square root 3. So that's the inner diagonal, which is given to be equal to 3. So therefore the answer in this case is going to be 18. Question 64. What's the sum of 8 square and 24 square? So 8 square is 64 and 24 square is 576. So 64 plus 576, so that's going to be equal to 640. Question 65, the slope of the line passing through these 2 points. So slope is nothing but y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So 10 minus 7 is 3, and then minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3. So 3 over minus 3 is minus 1. Question 66, square root of 27 simplified is how much? So 27 is 9 times 3, and if we take the square root of that, we will get 3 square root 3. Question 67, if 24 base b is 18 base 10, then b is how much? So that means 2b plus 4, so if I multiply 2 with b, so that will be 2b plus 4 is equal to 18. So subtract 4 from both sides, I get 2b is equal to 14, so b should be equal to 7. So let's quickly test it. So 7 times 2 is 14, 14 plus 4 is 18, so 7 is the right answer. If the hypotenuse of a 30, 60, 90 triangle measures 12, then its short leg measures, in this case, that's going to be 6. So in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, again, you need to memorize this. If this is 30 and this is 60, if the length of the side opposite to 30 degrees is x, then the length of the hypotenuse is going to be 2x, and then the length of the side opposite to 60 degrees is x times square root 3. So what's given to you over here is that this is equal to 12. So the shortest side is going to be half of that, so that's why that's equal to 6. Question 69, what is the product of 3,367 times 15? Again, there is a trick for that. You divide whatever is multiplied with 3,367 by 3. So in this case, you get 5 over here. And so the answer for this one will be 50505. Because this number 3,367 is nothing but 10,101 divided by 3. So when you're multiplying that by 15, you get 5 over here, and so 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 0 is 0, and then 505. So that's why you have the answer as 50,505. Question 70, what's the approximate value of square root of 31,000? So think of this as 310 multiplied with 100, right? So we know that the square root of 100 is 10, so that's going to be 10. And the square root of 310, we know that the square of 16 is 256, the square of 17 is 289, and the square of 18 is 324. So it has to be between 17 and 18, right? So if I pick the number as 100 and let's say if I pick the number as 17 and then multiply that by 10, I'll be underestimating, but it should be close enough. So I'll write the answer as 170. So in reality, it's going to be a little more than 170. Let's quickly check on the calculator. This is going to be 310 square root is going to be 17.6. So the actual answer to this question is 176. But if you write 170, that should be close enough. Question 71, what's the sum of 4 over 7 and 7 over 4 in mixed number format? So to quickly do that, you just cross multiply, you get 16 plus 49, which is equal to 65. 65 divided by 28. So this is 65 divided by 28. So that's equal to 2. So 28 times 2 is 56. And then the remainder is 9. So 2, 9 over 28. So that would be the answer. Question 72. The volume of a sphere with radius 3 is how much? So the volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cube. So this is 4 over 3 pi r cube, in this case is 3 cube, right? So we can cancel 1 3, and so what we get over here is 9. So 9 times 4 is 36. So this is equal to 36 pi. Question 73. What is the product of 998 and 997? So again, one quick way of doing this is think of this as 1000 minus 2 and think of this as 1000 minus 3. So 1000 times 1000 is 1 million, and now you have to subtract 3000 and 2000, which is 5000. So now we are at 995,000, and then we add 8 times 7, which is 56. So we have 995, and then we get a 0 over here, and then 56. So 995,056 is the answer. Question 74. What is 13 by 11 times 13 in mixed number format? So 13 times 13 is 169, and then 169 divided by 11. So 11 times 15 is 165. So we will have 15 over here, and then the remainder is 4, and then what we get over here is 11. So 15 4 by 11. Question 75. What is the slope of this line? So we know that the standard equation of the line is y is equal to mx plus b, and you see the coefficient of y over here is 2. So we need to divide both sides by 2. So in this case we get y is equal to 2x plus 4. So the slope is 2. 5 factorial is simply 120. 77, 23 base 5 plus 14 base 5 in base 5. So in base 10 this number is 13, and this number is 9. 13 plus 9 is 22 base 5, 22 base 10, and then there are 4 5s in 22, and then so the answer will be 42 base 5. So basically what I've done over here is 23 base 5 is, let me just show the work over here. So let's continue with question 77. So 23 base 5. So this is 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13 base 10. And then 14 base 5 is 9 base 10. So what we get is 22 base 10. Now this number has to be converted to base 5, right? So that means, so how many 1s, how many 5s, and how many 25s do we have in 22? Obviously we have 0 25s, and we have 4 5s in it, and because 5 times 4 is 20, and the remainder is 2, and then we have 2 1s. So that's why we get the answer as 42 base 5. Question 78. 1 gallon is equal to how many inch cube? Again, you need to memorize this. 1 gallon is 231 inch cube. Question 79. 10 minus 9 is 1. Question 80. What is the approximate value of 123 divided by 7 to 7th? One way to approximate this is think of 123 as 125 and 7 to 7th as 7.5. So 125 divided by 7.5, which is nothing but 1250 divided by 75. So both are multiples of 25. So we have in the numerator 50, and in the denominator we have 3. So this is 50 divided by 3, which is 16.7. So we can approximate this as 17. So that would be the answer.